Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about the tax obligations for contractors. So contractors could be self-employed and they could be incorporated. I'm not going to go into the difference between these two because I have made another video for this. What's the difference and what's better, this and that, what's the from tax viewpoint. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about incorporated contractors. So when I say incorporated, that means that it's a contractor who has a corporation, and the corporation could be a provincial corporation or it could be a federal corporation. That doesn't matter. I get a lot of calls and we get a lot of questions about from people who are working as contractor or who just incorporated, and they are confused about what their tax obligation is going to look like, as what kind of tax returns are they're going to be taking care of, and this and that, right? So I'm going to be talking about that, make it very simple, and you should grab the concept because this is going to be a simple conceptual thing, and then obviously there is going to be complexities as you kind of grow into your business, into your contract works, right? So let's begin. So the first thing is that for contractors, when we say contractors, so we're talking about incorporated. As I said, that incorporated means that you have a corporation now, right? So now since you have a corporation, you have to take care of two types of taxes. One is called the corporation tax return, which is called T2. It's called, let's say, I'm going to write over here. Actually, I'm going to use a different color. So this is going to be a T2, corporation tax return. And the second one is going to be the HST, if you're HST registered. And usually I advise my clients to get HST registered. It's not mandatory, it depends on your situation. I have another video in which I've explained the HST things for contractors. But even if you register for HST voluntarily, you are able to claim the HST that you're paying on your expenses. So it's always a good thing to, it's a good thing to register if you want. So I am assuming that you are HST registered as well. Let's put it that way. So that means then you have to take care of the HST return as well. And when I say HST, I mean the GST HST return. As you know, that's HST, let's say, since we are based in Ontario, but we do tax returns for all around Canada. So there are provinces where there is no HST, there is GST and PST. In Ontario, there is HST, so that's why I'm just using HST for example, but the rules are almost the same. But yes, where in the provinces where there is no HST, over there you have to file three types of tax returns: the corporate tax return, the PST, which is the provincial sales tax, and the GST, which is the goods and services for the federal government. All right, so as a contractor, you have to take care of two types of tax return. One is the T2 corporate income tax return, and the second is the HST return if you are HST registered, right? The T2 corporation tax return, you have to file it. It depends on the, if you just incorporated, so from the date of incorporation until 1 year, and you're going to file it, or you can file it before as well. Again, that's a technical thing. You can, if you have a question around, we can answer that. But keeping it simple, the T2 corporate tax return is filed by every incorporated business, contractor, or any entity which is incorporated, right? So they have to file that T2 tax return. So it basically reports the income that you made during the year, and the relevant expenses that you had during that year, and whatever the taxable income is, if there is any, what tax you have to pay. And that tax which you pay on that is called income tax, right? It is calculated on the income. Very important, on the income. And then the HST return, which is related to the sales tax, which I'm going to explain. So these two tax returns. Now I'm going to quickly run an example, which is further going to clarify what I mean. All right. So let's say, let's talk about the income side. Since we work with a lot of IT clients, so I'm assuming you're an IT contractor, right? And you got a contract for some IT service, some website designing or security or whatever, right? And you're gonna charge your client, let's say $1,000, right? So you're gonna charge, let's say, $1,000, right? And then on that amount, you're also gonna collect HST, which is 13%. So you're gonna add $130, which is 13% in Ontario. So your total invoice amount is gonna be $1,130. It's a simple example. I love using these numbers. All right, so $1,000. Your fees or your price, $130, the HST on top you're charging. You send an invoice to the client for $1,130. The client will write you a check for this amount, $1,130. Clear? No problem here, right? Now we have to see that this is, let's say, the HST, and this is your the actual amount, right? All right. So I'm also gonna write the expense related information here. So let's say I'm just saying that you bought something, you bought a computer for, let's say, $200, right? And $226. What is this? So basically, you purchased a computer for $226. This is the amount that you paid, and the breakdown of this amount is $200 plus $26 they collected for the HST. All right, simple. Now I'm gonna go to the main point, which is the main concept you gotta keep in mind. The first thing you gotta keep in mind is that you have to take care of two tax returns. One is the T2 corporation income tax return, and the second one is the GST HST return. These two returns you have to file even if you didn't make any money during the year, you didn't have any activity, you still have to file these two returns. Make that keep that in mind. Otherwise, CRA is gonna come after you. They're gonna start sending you letters, and they're gonna start estimating your income and expenses and taxes and all that. To avoid all those penalties, interest, this and that, all the hassle, make sure that you're filing these two tax returns in time. All right, so now let's talk about this. So this is, let's say, $200. So I'm just gonna do the maths here. So 1,000 minus 200 is $800. So basically your income $1,000 and your expenses, you make $800. This is your net income. All right, and all this information, very important guys, all this information is going where? Going here into T2. All right, so the $1,000 that you made, the $200 that you spent, the $800, that is the net income, which becomes taxable. Your tax will be calculated on this amount. This all information goes into your T2 tax return. So this is all data related to your corporation tax return, corporation income tax return. Whereas the $130 that you collected on your sales and the $26 that you paid on your expenses, this amount, right? If I do maths here, 130 minus 26 is gonna be 104. Okay, so that means that this $104, all this information is gonna go into this return, is related to the HST return. All right, so all the HST related information, this HST that you collected on your sales from the client, remember, and the $26 that you paid on your expenses, you can recover that $26. Now you have to send the government the balance amount, which is $104. All that information is going to be reported in the GST HST return. Now this is the most important simple concept. Okay, two tax returns you have to file: T2, the corporation income tax return, and the HST return. The T2 will take care of the net amounts of your income and the expenses, and the income tax on related information all goes into the T2, and the HST related information all goes into the HST return. So this is what the concept is, right? And just for your information, this $26, we also call this $26 ITC, input tax credits. We're going to explain that. I've explained that in a separate video which is related to HST return, how to file HST return. You can check that out. But this is what it looks like. So you have to grab this concept as a contractor. If you're new or you're already in the business, as an incorporated contractor, when you have a corporation, this is how your taxes gonna look like, the highlights of it. So two tax returns, T2 and HST return. This information, the income and expenses information, goes into the T2. The HST related information goes into the GST HST return. So those are the there could be other obligations, EHT or any other obligation, payroll related obligation, and the others. But as far as the main taxes are concerned for contractors, this is what you're looking at. I think this is good information for now. So if you have any questions or concerns or any feedback, please share that in the comment box below. And if you like the video, just hit like and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day, guys. See you.